Hello everyone, and welcome to today's show. I sent a couple messages to Sir Adamantine. He said he wanted to be on today's show, gave me this day and time, and I'm hoping maybe he's just running behind or forgot and will hop in here soon. With that said, I would like to say hello to Amanda Wolfchild. Welcome, and you should have a wrench here any second now. There it is. Daryl Odell, welcome to the chat today. Malevolent Rider and Unwanted Reaper. How is everybody doing on this awkward Friday? At least it's somewhat awkward for me, but we'll see how the rest of it goes. We have some up and coming things this weekend that I will quickly discuss just to take up a few minutes of time. Welcome, Shadowcat. There will be a new show coming out between me and another creator, Data Wasteland. We are going to call it the Numbed Wasteland, and we're going to cover some topics a little more in depth and see how that goes. It's going to premiere tomorrow at 7 on my channel, and once we get things going, we're going to move it over to Data's channel. So we'll see how that goes. Also, unplanned as of right now, I will be doing another stream on Saturday afternoon somewhere for my 1 year mark. It has been 1 year since I uploaded my first video as of the 7th. I also just passed 200 subscribers, so it'll be a 1 year, 200 subs, fuck with the bots kind of stream. I'll be handing out bones to people who hang out, have fun, just mess with the bots and see what happens. 7 p.m. EST, which is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and midnight Greenwich Mean Time, I believe. So hopefully it'll go well. Thank you so much, Shadowcat, for the congrats. I appreciate it. I appreciate every one of you for showing up, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the show. With that, let me try not to screw the show up today like I have most of the week. Let's hope today goes reasonably well as I load this game screen. Welcome to the Great Debate. Okay, so we do have a couple of newer people in the chat. This is how it works. I did have a guest planned, but when there's no guest, the chat gets to pick the items that we talk about, and I will babble or ramble or just talk about whatever it is that you guys pick. And some of the regulars are happily going to let the new people pick, which is wonderful. You are GMT +1. I am GMT -5, so you're 6 hours ahead of me, which means 1 a.m. tomorrow, or 1 a.m. after tomorrow will be the time of the new show between Data and I. Or Shadowcat. Absolutely. Somebody pick topics. Virtual reality, the first one on the board. Here we are. Virtual reality could have let me start over. Virtual reality could have possibly been developed for porn, and we were all just told it was for gaming. I need more sound effects is what I need, because this is what I got. Yeah, we're talking about virtual reality and porn. So was virtual reality built for porn and then for gaming? Or was it developed and porn went, we'll have it that. And it came out at the same time as gaming. Everything is for porn. Anything that connects to the internet is for porn. Although there's magazines and uh, I was always fond of the Penthouse letters. This tinier magazines, they were like half the size. They'd slide into your pocket. Uh, I like VR, and obviously most people have heard about Andy's comedic 65 gig hard drive. So, was virtual reality developed for more interactive porn? Did somebody sit and design it, going, you know, it would be cool if I could enjoy a little more stimulus with my package? There's actually a porn game that you can play in virtual reality. Porn is groundbreaking industry. Purple Dragon. Purple Dragon. Purple Dragon. Purple Dragon. Nah, they saw an all around useful idea. Use it to fuck, use it to train soldiers. They have tested as a method of mind control. That's probably the real reason it got made. Ooh, that's a cool thought. Mind control. But wouldn't introducing porn through VR also help with mind control, though? Or am I just trying to steer the conversation back to porn? I don't think I'm really that into porn. Maybe a bit. A couple times a week. Doesn't hurt. My wife's not very fond of porn, though. She likes that I watch it. She sometimes I find something new or see something in a movie and go, that's going to be fun. And then she's like, well, where did that come from? Oh, I was watching porn today. Okay. What else is there to say about porn? Has, dare I ask my chat this question? Have any of you tried any type of VR porn? Because as an iPhone owner, I can tell you that I went to a cheapy store and grabbed a $5 headset adapter for my iPhone, and I have on one of my phones downloaded 20 or 30 VR interactive games for roller coasters, exploring space, shootout games. I even bought a little remote that hasn't connected yet. But and everybody says go to Pornhub. I laugh at them. They need to learn a little, get a little more experience under your belt, and go to Porn MD. Go see the porn doctor. The porn doctor's got everything you need, including what's on Pornhub. It's part of that huge porn network, anyways. But I like Porn MD better. It finds more specific things that you're looking for sometimes. And there are VR porn videos, which is weird because I guess they're not as extensive as the PlayStation 4. Because I wouldn't say they're all that realistic feeling. You can look around and get a feel of what's in the environment, but it cuts out after a certain angle of view. You've got like 200 degrees in some of these. You can't look too far up or too far down. Um, if you're gonna do it, you have to, and it's weird doing it on a phone, but you have to actually get into it with the phone in the position that you intend to watch it in. Because once you load the video up, it's calibrated to where your phone is. So if your phone is laying on the desk when you calibrate the video and then you lift it up to look at it, it's going to look at the ceiling and you're going to miss everything. Xvideo is also good. I don't know. I don't use Xvideo. Nope, never tried VR porn. Even if you're not, let's make this clear. Even if you're not sitting there, enjoying it physically, sometimes it's fun just to watch porn. It's visually enjoyable just to watch porn. So hell yeah, I'm gonna give, whatever excess VR porn I have a shot at trying out a try. Why not? I like viewing naked ladies. Oh look, they look more real, and there's five of them dancing around me, and I can choose which one to look at, and I can turn my head and look at the blonde, or turn and look at the redhead, and watch what different ones do at different times, or hey, they're all moving my way, and it actually feels like they're moving. It's not just a video on a screen. There's no, you know, physical contact feeling, but it's a good experience. It's a good way to watch it. Um, I guess I'm a standalone here. Andy Worski, come save me. I'm talking about VR porn. I need your help, Andy. Uh, oh, is time up? Okay, okay. Is that a request for TV Rider? Is that what that was? Or TV time up? We are so gonna end up in a Ray Bradbury world. Yay! I don't know what that means. You might have to explain it to me a little bit. Did I not get it? I didn't get a drink of soda for this, as I get dry mouth. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to assume Malevolent Rider said TV. And I'm gonna... Should I choose to ignore it? Worski is a joke right now. Obviously Worski is a joke. That's why I was using him as a joke reference, right? He's a joke, though, because he lets himself be a joke, if that makes any sense. Give me maybe 5 seconds. I lied. It was like 7. Sorry about that. I just need something to drink when you sit here and talk for an hour, and I usually put a soda in front of me before I start. Alright, Malevolent Rider said yes. I'm assuming we're talking about TV. Television. Have television shows or scenes contained in shows changed how you live or see your life? Okay, so let's start the conversation off by what comes to mind. And I recently watched part of one of the episodes of Roseanne. I heard wrong. Maybe. I like clicking buttons. I saw TV. Sorry, I woke up early, so this is my TV. Yes, it is your TV. I had to, because TV is my favorite topic. Okay, which TV we're on. I was watching a recent episode of Roseanne, and if anybody remembers nostalgia here, the old episodes, Roseanne, and I think I've actually talked about her before, the show, like back when I started this, Roseanne was one of those shows that just gave you that more real life appeal. When you looked around the set, it wasn't one of those, $60,000 a year apartments with brand new glass furniture and, awesome looking everything, new pans and new knives. It was a house with shit hanging on the walls and posted on the fridge and blankets and pillows on the couch and shit that was, mended and tattered and clothes that didn't look new, and it was people that acted real and shit that inevitably happened to somebody in real life, and you could kind of relate to the Roseanne show. And I watched part of an episode. It gave me the inkling that I'm going to want to watch more of it. So maybe I will. I'll make it a weekend plan coming up, but not this weekend. The show brought in Mark, which is Darlene's son. Now, I honestly thought Darlene would grow up looking a little better, but I guess that seems accurate. I've lived in some low-income areas and things, and, people just develop to a certain way depending on the way around them is, and she didn't age very well, but I guess she aged appropriately for the role that she has. And now she has Mark, who I didn't catch his age, maybe 7 or 8, going to a new school because she had to move in with her mom again, and he wants to wear a dress, and I'm trying to remember this episode. Dan asks him if he believes that he's a girl, and he says no. He says, I just enjoy wearing a dress. And I decided that this was a show that actually brought for a few comments, and maybe it would handle them in a real way, because I kind of liked how Dan handled it. It was how I felt I would probably handle it. Is I'm going to the garage. I, I can't talk. I have to think and figure out how I can best deal with this without hurting my, son or grandson. I think is what his grandson. I would have to do something like that. So I feel like the show did bring in uh, an aspect of reality to it, where the show kind of really is known for that. And I saw somebody in here. Let me go back up here. In a few days, we will talk Boris into myself a cheap glass for Android and go check. I'm not gonna go buy an Android. I'm content with Android, like they're all right, but I'm not fond of Android. So I woke up early. He's desperate to be on YouTube, throwing all his former friends under the bus. Oh, that's about Andy. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Haven't you read that book? I might not have read a book. I don't think that was that mean. Bromancing with JF, but I heard it's over. You heard wrong. I had to because TV's my favorite topic. He had to do just the one debate show a week. Live Roseanne. Worski has always been a joke, so comfort donations will drop dramatically. Love. I like the new Roseanne. Malevolent Rider. Hate Roseanne. Don't care about the supers that much. People still super chat to shit on him. Clearly have not watched in past weeks. I hate the show, period. I'm assuming that I hate the show, period, is at Roseanne. I'm indifferent about it, only because I only watched like 15 minutes of one episode, which is most of, but not the entire thing. It was one of those things where I was doing something and I stopped and stared at the TV and didn't walk away fast enough. Nella, do the next question. Give him a kilt instead. That would be less weird. Bot. My question, I don't think I have any. Oh, well, we'll explain the questions here in a minute. Should I discuss the Andy Worski show? I don't watch him regularly, but if some of my more favorite streamers are not on and there's nothing else to watch, I will tune in for a short time. The big problem that I have with him is it seems like he kind of cherry picks out of chat sometimes, and the shows that he puts together, I understand they have a few people working on it, but let's take this from a point of view. I tried to create a show that was about debating, that was in a format that was manageable for me. And I don't think that that's exactly what Andy Worski did when he set his show up. I think what Andy Worski did was he set his show up in a format that he thought everybody would enjoy. And he decided that's what he was going to go with. And that's a correct move. I tried to incorporate a bunch of things into my show that everybody's going to enjoy, like what you guys are messing with the bots and some of the other things that I do, the GIFs and the sound effects and things. That's what I try to do. I don't think when they went into it, they formulated out their plan and ran it through to modify it. I think they threw the plan out there, they ran with it, and they kept running with it, and they burned out on the plan, and they didn't fix little things as they saw them become problems. And I guess there's two ways to do a show. You run a show, and you set it out there and you just let it run and take its course. Or you do a show and you plot the course you want to take and you push the show towards that course. And I can't say that the course I'm on won't change or won't be affected by future shows. I will happily make changes, like little tiny modifications here and there where the show needs to change or where I need to make little effects, or if I get bored with something, because there's that too, that if you don't change things every so often, it kind of gets boring and you don't want to see the same thing over and over again. At least I don't think anybody does. Once I've watched a few months back when videos were still the real big thing, and I still enjoy catching videos, but once you watch 3 or 4 videos commenting on the same thing, you kind of get burned out, and when the 5th and 6th video come out, you're like, oh, well, no, I'll check your next video because I'm burnt out on the topic you're covering, and it keeps getting covered. I know the time's up, Ryder. I'm getting there. All right, what's next? What are we talking about? I think it was Nella's turn to pick, but it's one of those, yell something out. But the children distract me, but in all honesty, Rosanna's apparently a relentless pusher to get her away and worked her writers super hard, but the shows they put out back in the day were fucking amazing. Again, I haven't checked out a lot of the new series. I'm exposed to like 15 minutes of it. That's not enough for me to make a rational decision. I will say that it almost seems like Dan's character seemed kind of rigid, and it was, I don't know, I'd say right now I kind of relate to Dan. I don't know who I related to back then. That was literally when I was a kid, young teen maybe, but a kid. Yes, absolutely. Sub to the other people in my chat if you would like. Also, sub to me. It would be awesome if you'd click that share button every so often when you're watching me, because other people might like to watch as well. And while we're at it, what would the people like to watch me talk about next? Because I just continue to ramble. And, nothing from Sir Adamantine. I apologize, guys. I probably should have checked with him yesterday to confirm, but I had him written on the schedule, so. The new series I watched the episodes and I like them a lot. They still write Middle America really well and in the dynamics of a real family. And I think that's what people actually want to see. You get people advocating that they want to see people like themselves on TV. No, they don't want to see people represent people like themselves. They want to see the life they're living. Nella, my question is it true Americans don't speak or can't speak the language besides English? I was actually just watching a show half an hour ago, and a statistic came up. I might have to check on this. Said roughly 40% of Americans don't speak English in their homes. So we're at a point where America is teetering with the English language. Well, it still becomes a majority. If less than half the country primarily speaks the primary language, is it still the primary language? How does a country survive if we don't have things to lock into? What I was gonna jump in and scream random shit. Why aren't you running audio with Discord? You want to scream random shit through Discord? I am running audio through Discord. I'm just not sitting in there right now. Give me a click. And I'm now in Discord. Hop in the green room. I forgot to do that this morning. My apologies. Controversy. Controversy. Okay, so this one's important. Does the Second Amendment expressly concern guns? So, I should probably pull it up and read it here to figure out exactly what. Come on, load. All this broadcasting I'm doing, it's causing a strain on my server. Good thing my kids are watching a DVD, because this would probably kill me if they were trying to pull live streaming. Alright, so I'm just going to look this up. I would be more prepared, but I never know what people are going to pick. Okay. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, So there's a couple ways to look at this, and I want to explain a slightly different way that I was looking at this when I wrote the question. Okay. So the country, when it was developed, when the Constitution was written and everything was established and the amendments were put on there to ensure the freedoms of the country, I want to say that they wanted the government to hold equal or lower power than the accumulation of the citizens. So at no point should the government supersede the want of the citizens. In saying that, right now there's a huge imbalance with the availability of certain weapons. So this is where guns are concerned in the Second Amendment, where people who are civilians should have roughly equal access to what the government has. So if the government should decide that it's going to go against the civilians have an equal power to go against the government and overtake it. So, nobody's in the green room. So it's not expressly concerning guns. What it's saying is that the civilians, the citizens of the nation, should be given all of the same power and ability as the government, and the ability of the government should never supersede that of the citizens. So when you look at it like that, there should be civilians who own tanks that are equipped and ready to go against the government, and the number of civilian-owned tanks should be equal to or greater than the number owned by the government. Even if it's a civilian organization, it should be equal to or greater than the amount of the government. Never should the government overreach the want or need of the civilization or of the country. So I feel like the Second Amendment was trying to say that in the effort to be a free country and make sure that these rights are always granted, the ability of the country to have the same power as the government of the country is important. So if the government should screw up, that the country can correct it. It was also meant to prevent the government from making any weapons that weren't willing to hand over to the people, but people handed over that right to the government in the name of safety. Did they, though? In order for you to say the people handed over the right, you can't sign a law through Congress. You have to do a national vote. No national vote has been done for gun laws. You've had laws signed in, and you've had conventions of the government decide that these laws are appropriate. And while the government is comprised of citizens, you're talking about people who sit and hold this status for long periods. They're going to hold their opinion however they choose, and they're going to roll with it. If they think the louder citizens are putting out control guns, while all the gun holders are going, you know, I got my gun, I'm just going to make sure I tuck it in the shed where nobody knows. Who's going to make the bigger impact on those lawmakers? And that's where the problem is. It doesn't come down to the voters. It comes down to what the lawmakers feel the best impact is. And that once they are a lawmaker, they are a part of the government. It makes it really hard. The nuke is well agreed to not be something that all people should have. But I could offer you a whole world of context to that. There was even a Star Trek video that took a civilian scientist and he got his hands on a couple of nuclear weapons and turned them into a spaceship, and that is how we had First Contact. I think the movie was actually called First Contact, Star Trek First Contact. What if I had access to a nuclear weapon? Maybe I'll blow up my town. Maybe I'll build me a space shuttle. There was a movie years back where a kid actually got his hands on enough yellow cake to turn it into nuclear matter, and he designed a small bomb. I think it was made in the late 80s, early 90s maybe. It was a good movie. My grandma asked, should I be watching this? Also, she said hi. Hi, Grandma. This is very important and informative and rambling and misconstruing and reconstruing and whatever else we try to do here on this show, however it comes about. What time we got? We got 9:30. This is the third topic, right? We're doing good. Don't want to move too fast. What else did I miss here in chat? Where went? Oh, no, that's the bot. They wrote the Second Amendment knowing guns would change in times and years. Is it guns? So here's an interesting question. Here's something fun and stupid. If a new technology weapon comes out, let's say the phaser, because people have heard of it from Star Trek. Let's say a phaser or a light gun come out, and this technology is separate because it doesn't fall under the projectiles that a gun would be, because you're not shooting something, there's no combustion, there's no firing, it's light being shot, so it could be construed differently. Let's say this comes out and the government has their hands on this technology, well then people should also have their hands on this technology. But the point is, we the people agreed collectively by not stopping them that the government had the right to make the nuke, even though we are also collectively agreed that no one should have it but the government. See, and the nuke makes this difficult. That offers in another perspective, and yes, I know my time is up. Hold on. The nuke offers in another perspective, and that's if everybody has something, you have mutually assured destruction. And when you start limiting it to people that abide the law, you're giving it to people that don't abide the law. What's to say if guns weren't completely illegal that I couldn't stop and build something that was like a gun and still shoot you with it? What's to say I couldn't machine myself a gun of sorts and shoot you with it? No one agreed to that. When was the vote? Yeah, see, that's the thing is, and this is another question I had weeks ago. When the government goes to sign laws, they vote amongst themselves, government officials. And when they go to write laws, they don't write laws for the things they're writing laws for. They write laws with yeah, we want to get rid of this, but we're going to tack on that teachers are going to get a pay cut. Yeah, we're going to do this that you want, but in this law, we have to take away this. That should be two separate laws, or a repeal of a law and a passing of another law. They too much gets purposefully clouded and causes problems, and that's where people get angry, is the government purposefully tries to mislead people like, yes, we're going to pass this really cool thing for you, but in the fine print on the bottom, it's going to take away something you guys want. By not opposing and cheering the making of it, the people agreed. Yeah, you're kind of right there, though. Again, it goes back to the loudest voices that the politicians are hearing are those pushing for what the politicians are writing. So if that's what they hear, then they believe they're doing what's right. And that means that the voice of the people who are currently sitting quietly because they don't want to be looked at for disagreeing, that voice needs to get really loud really fast. Unwanted Reaper yells out technology, knowing what my next question is and wanting me to stop just rambling. Does it seem realistic to want to have cybernetic implants? So, what kind of cybernetic implants are we talking? What would you want? I would want a new eye. I'd want one of my eyes, preferably my bad eye, fixed. I would like thermal and radiation detection. I would like, a nostril that can sense gas and O2 and all of that stuff for my own protection. And, yeah, Lacey wants a new spine It has to be 20 times the strength and durability and allow for lifting. I'd not it's. Man, it's get a new spine. Oh, me get a new spine. I'm it's. Other people are calling me Boris. Now I'm it's. Stop watching the public relations ads. What? Ooh, get off the fucking Kool-Aid. You know what's better than Kool-Aid? Don't add water. Just put the Kool-Aid packet in, put some sugar in, and then pour it in your mouth. It might just kill you. Alright, we have the Dune Styler in the chat. Realistic to what we have, then maybe. Okay, let's look at this from a weird point of view. I think honestly, if technologies came about that allowed people to assist in regular things, then a lot of people are going to want to grab onto it. But you're going to have those that understand that in grabbing onto some sort of cybernetic implant, that means that you're linking up to something, and that, you know, to the smart technical people, if you link up to something, that means you could be hacked. So if you did get a visual implant and somebody happened to be within, you know, whatever range or on the Wi-Fi and hacked you, and on your visual implant they started planting images of something in front of you, could you believe it? Would that go to your brain as something you saw? And if you saw it through one eye with thermal, would that affect how you saw it through the other? How would they link up? Human centipede link up, sorry, had to. I did see I did see that there's a lot of places working on, and this is interesting, that handicapped persons, veterans who've lost limbs, are getting a chance to try out these new technologies that literally detect the movements that they intend to make based on the waves and pulses that go through the nerves, and they custom fit these devices. Now, they're working on a new one. A guy had an implant put into his brain, and I want to say it was in the back of his skull to connect into the spinal cord, and it reads the motions that are wanted, the person wants to make by the synapses that are being fired. And that causes movement in the arm through a radio signal that travels directly to the arm. It's still not finished yet, because apparently the guy has the implant in his brain. They have to connect to the implant in his brain, then connect that to the machine, and I guess he gets like an hour or so every few days as they keep tweaking with it. The technology is still being worked on, but when I saw it was really, really cool. He said that it was almost like actually having his hand back. He couldn't feel things, but the fact that he knew that he was moving it, and that it was moving with the way he felt like he was moving it, was astounding. Excuse me. Speak only for your emotions. Just making sure you weren't. Yo, Dune. Yes, welcome, Dune. Cybernetic implants just make me think of Repo Man. Maybe I saw that. Humans, when I read that part, gamble away your bones. Definitely, yes, it will. You wouldn't believe the sensory system would send to your brain. Well, I meant like able to change the vision to any spectrum of light if possible, not only the infrared. If I do like the colors of nature as they are. I'm not even thinking. I'm not saying I want to remove my eye. I'm saying if my vision gets a lot worse in my one eye, should it get cloudy or hard to see, then a cybernetic implant came out to allow my vision to either be perfectly astounding, and or I might be able to think I want to see infrared and all of a sudden be able to see that there's a squirrel in the back of the garage that crawled through a hole. I think of RoboCop. Yeah, I guess you would kind of end up with that after a while. You'd get these cops that get injured, and, you know, the repair is, well, here is the opportunity to have your free cybernetic hand, or we can replace your elbow with a cybernetic elbow and put, you know, keep some of this, and you can have that, and oh shit, you got shot in the head. Yeah, we can fix that. Have a cybernetic quarter of your brain replaced, and you can process math at 30 times the regular speed. These things are going to come. They're working on small things now, but it's inevitable that we're going to have this. So, does it seem realistic to want it? I kind of would want it. If I could opt in for an eye that had an upgrade to thermal imaging, that'd be kind of cool. Live in the movie like Holy Hand. I know I didn't see Holy Hand. I never could use robo parts because then I'd never trust my body again. So if you had one robotic hand and one real hand and they had to fight, who's gonna win? That's an interesting question. It'd be like something from The Thing where the guy chopped his own hand off and then it started crawling around and attacking him. But wanted to keep it PG. I would like an eye that could see all the colors you can. Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? That was uncalled for. I would honestly, if I had to do something, I would like to have the ability to have more protections. I would like to be able to see things that could be dangerous, like thermal imaging. I would like to be able to smell gas or CO2 before it's hazardous. I see you later, Nella. Thanks for coming. I would like to have the ability to have more protections, built-in features to protect myself. And maybe that's the way the human race has to go inevitably, is to have either some sort of cybernetic mech enhancement. I don't know. Did we have a selection in there for the next topic? Wasn't there an article about people hacking sex toys? Yes, I think there was. I forget what they were changing, something they said during. I didn't read that article. I saw it and laughed and browsed through. I'm not sure. So, sex or toys? That's the question. Well, no, we can pick anything. Just because they said sex toys, I can't use that because it wasn't one or the other. Hey, Bronner, welcome. It's weird trying to watch chat. I got so many chat windows up and it pops up on one, so all of a sudden I look there and then it pops up on the next and the next, and it's just, it's bothersome. But at least I know I see everything. And I forgot to click it on live chat, but of course I see everything, so I'm pretty sure I'm not missing anybody. Wouldn't want to miss anybody. I hate that there's so many settings. You should be able to go in and say, which would you prefer, live chat or top chat? I'd prefer live chat, and every time you load, it gives you live chat. Hacking sex toys. Yay. Like after I pick. 3WC language lets you do all you need to. What do we got? What do we got? Malevolent wants fuck the world. I'm assuming that means fuck the world or for the win. Or what the fuck the world for the win. However we want to look at it. Alright, so we're going to do what the fuck or fuck the world, because that's the closest thing we've gotten to a topic selection. While I take a drink. Okay. That feels better. Are we breeding ourselves into an idiocracy as a species? We're gonna put a little pause there, because that takes some thinking, doesn't it? Someone asked that 30 minutes but never got it. Okay. Short answer, yes. So here's long answer, definitely. Here's the thought about it. If we see, and this one is complicated because I was looking up statistics earlier. about what the abortion rate is in the United States per capita. And if you look at the education levels versus the abortion rate, they almost go completely opposite in unison. The better the education is, the smarter we get as a population, the fewer children and the fewer abortions seem to be having had. Now, does that mean that we should get stupider? But then wouldn't we still see, this is where it gets complicated. If a smart person realizes that having a child is a bad idea, waits and then finds out they can't have children, then their intelligence, their Darwin selection of intelligence, I guess is what we could almost say, is lost. And we need to kind of thrive on taking the intelligence that we have and building upon it. And if you can't inherently give somebody certain, some people just can't learn. Sometimes there's just things that we believe are probably in your DNA that do not allow you to learn like others. And in that, we need to make sure that, smart people realize that there still needs to be offspring, and need we don't need to revert. Like, the animal instinct in us is to keep having kids. So what do you do if I need to replace this damn chair? No, I need to get the screwdriver out. I found out the screws were loose. I just need to fix it. No, it's the public education system and people slowly handing over responsibility of themselves to others. I damn near can't stand any person. I agree. I don't think I'm smart. I think they are just a lot of stupid people around me. We had a good chat about schools the other day. Yeah, you mean more stupid. Stupider is not a word. More stupid. Stupider. I'm a numbskull. I can use whatever word or not word I want to not use or use. It's not intelligence, it's education. Okay, so the more education we have, the less stupid we are. And stupider, more stupid people have more kids. Wow, trying to say that grammatically correct sounds so stupid. Uh, Throws the baseball up and swing at it. Home run, awesome, we all agree. Yes, we hit it out of the ballpark on this one. Has anybody seen the movie Idiocracy? I thought it was funny. And if you take the intelligent people and you lack of breeding them out of existence, do we not have intelligent people? Can we breed intelligence back in? Can we make people smart? I don't know. The education system seems to think we can make people smart, and they seem to think they know how to do it, but the harder they work at doing it, the dumber people get. Or the dumber people seem to be. Are smart people inherently dumb? There's a whole bunch of stuff I could go into on this intelligence and idiocracy. Think about the fact of IQ measurement. IQ is supposed to be able to, let's see if I can correctly state this. I'm not going to look it up. IQ is supposed to be able to measure your aptitude and ability to answer questions, not the correctness of the question, but your ability to find the answers. And then there's other tests that test on different things. And if you test high on things, does that mean you're better or worse? People that test higher have fewer kids. Doesn't that make that worse? So wouldn't that make them test lower in like a social aspect? IQ doesn't take the social aspect in. I could go off on huge tangents with this one. I should probably stop and read the chat again. These days, I think a big part is overprotective parents and the kids not thinking for themselves. Bronner, it's intelligence because of its birth rate. Smart and intelligence is not the same thing. Intelligence is born, smartness is achieved. You can only be achieved by intelligent people. Hey, I like that. I like that. Welcome to the chat. I love the opinions in here. Watch Devolution of Stupid People by Joe Rogan. It's excellent. I actually just started watching Joe Rogan a couple weeks ago, but there's a lot there for me to try and catch. So I'm picking at what looks interesting to me. I might have to I might have to note that one here. You can train anyone to just you can train anyone, just use the right motive. Yeah, that goes back to brainwashing in the schools and not brainwashing. What is it called? Indoctrinating people into something, and you get them believing, and then they move on thinking that way. It's like, no, it's okay that you don't have children. Um, and that's not even getting into the LGBTQ aspect of not having children and where that's going to take it, because I won't deny that there are some intelligent, smart people in that community who will never produce offspring that could possibly promote more coherent thought, and that again is my perspective on that community. It could use a little more coherency. But with the time being up, I'm sure my chat wants to do some more. We got about 6 minutes left, I think. Yeah, 6-ish. About 7 minutes left. Do we want to do one more? Do we want me to ramble about Pavlov? Oh, yes, I love Pavlov, the drooling dog. Ring the bell, the dog drools. You can train people to react to circumstances. And I thought we weren't allowed to do that legally, but it seems like that's what we're doing. We're training people in school that literally training people in schools that if you hear something, if it falls within this type of phrasing, then it's a racist or homophobic or bigoted statement, or it's xenophobic, or it's phobic or ism or ist of something because of the statement that was made. And indoctrinating kids to believe that everything somebody says and how they say it portrays the person they are. No, it portrays the conversation they're getting across. Get through the conversation, learn about the person by the conversation they're having, not the way they word things. It has nothing to do with common sense either. Right. Common sense is easy. You could know how to build a rocket and be reading a book when you walk up to a stop sign and walk through it. Common sense says to stop at the stop sign. Intelligence says, well, I'm going to get smart. I'm reading a book and walking. I should be okay. The law is stop for pedestrians. That's intelligence. Common sense says some people don't see you. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Internet for the last call. That's what I see. Was anybody else first on anything? And repeat internet. Okay, internet is what we're clicking. Should there be a licensing process to be able to connect to the internet? Should us viewers, should us creators, should all of us on this internet all around the world have a license to be on the internet? I know the answers are going to start flying through my chat. No, absolutely not, probably not, no. I don't see them yet, but they're coming. I know they are. Because most people believe that the internet is free access. The internet should no longer, should not be confined to regular regulations, because it's the internet. It's different. It's a world that's open and willing to be free and do what you want. And here's the problem. Let's look at some stupid things that I see right now. And when I say stupid, I mean it's the world that's been created because of the internet and the way the internet and people are. People want anonymity on the internet, and they want to be able to continue doing what they're doing. So stopping someone is just going to cause them to create a new way to do it. There inevitably can be no workaround. Somebody is going to keep trying and keep trying. So we have creators who are getting struck down. Rightfully or wrongfully, it doesn't matter. Then those creators turn around and open another channel and another channel. And knowing that they will probably get struck down, they open a few more channels. And then they start putting content out on all of these channels. So would it have been easier to have left them up on one channel and let them run that one channel and know that they have that channel, rather than have them in 8 different places acting like 8 different people on 8 different channels that you still have to watch all of? isn't trying to fight what they're fighting causing the problem to grow? The Hydra effect, you cut off one head, it grows two more. Isn't that Hydra? Let's look back at the chat. Fuck no, that's the fucking answer. Yeah, the fucking answer is fuck no, you don't want a license for the internet. If you're licensed, you lose your anonymity. And once you're licensed, it means anything you sign up or do is connected with that license. Everything you do on the internet. You offend too many people, you get too many strikes on your license gets revoked. You can no longer connect to the internet. What do you do? Numbed, it wouldn't matter. Lots of people have driver's licenses who can't drive. Lots of people drive who don't have driver's licenses too. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean people won't do it. That's my point. Is fighting the problem going to make the problem worse, especially on the internet? Internet is usually an easier one. You already have the license. You pay for it and sign contracts to companies. There is your license. Okay, but if you pulled over and get a speeding ticket, your speeding ticket's tracked by your license, and your license holds your information. If you get on the internet and you visit YouTube and watch a video, it doesn't go, hey, you're connected. Oh, no, actually, you know, it kind of does. You don't see it in depth or anything, but it kind of does say that you're connected through this IP, through this ISP, you're using this, and it's amazing what they have access to, but we don't. But yeah, it is kind of licensed, but the way that the internet would be licensed because of its form is if you logged into a site, your licensing information would log you into the site. So if you got blocked from YouTube on your license, then you would have to acquire a new license illegally, to acquire a new license number to get into that site, and that's where that would lock out the problem. It's annoying that two Proteome do that, but really, so what? We can ban people from going online like sex offenders, so why make people be licensed? Here's the problem, and I have a friend who was banned from the internet, and I don't know what his abilities are now, but he has his wife make messages for him, or makes it clear that his wife is with him or making the message, but he still has the access because his wife has access. He's not allowed to have accounts in his name. He's not allowed to have things connected to him. He's not allowed to have certain devices that are his or that he has open access to. But he does have the ability to get access to it. So is that really stopping? If his wife had a license and her license was suspended because of him possibly connecting to the internet, that would change things. Hide your identity. Yes, a lot of people want to hide your identity. I'm hiding mine. I'm a numbskull. You guys don't know my real name. You don't know where I am. You have a general idea I live in the Northeast United States, but that's about all I'm going to give most people. Besides that, there's no reason to. This is the internet. This is where people can anonymously throw information, ideas, thoughts, claims. That's what it was built to be. But what if it wasn't? What if it was built in, like when cars were developed back in the early 1900s, and they realized that, people couldn't just walk across the streets. You couldn't hear the horse coming. Sometimes there was a car just rolling down the road. And it became a problem, and they had to figure out a way to change and license people who drove vehicles, so they knew how many cars there would be, and that those cars could contribute to the roads being repaired, and all of this important stuff. So should the internet, granted, is the internet still kind of young, I guess you could say. It could still be licensed. There could be a huge halt put on it, and everybody could need to be licensed through their ISP to connect to every site, and then VPNs are out the window, gone. You've already got people that are so worried. You've got so many companies so worried about laws and restrictions being put down that it's on them because their users can't be properly tracked. Well, we can't track what users actually made this transaction, so it's on you because the transaction happened on your site. And that causes problems. So licensing would narrow some of this down. It'd make it easier. It'd put more on the user and less on the business or the site. Yeah, I guess I'm Boris. Time is over and time is up. I see. That's what happens when I get on a tangent at the end of the show, guys. That is just what happens. All right, and we did 6 topics. That's a good day. 6 topics is a good day. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Right now, I'm looking at Daryl Adele, G. Bronard, Amanda Wolfchild, Henrik Dorson, Lacey Ann, Skip the Bot, Skip myself, Olenska. Hello. Skip the other bot, the Dunslayer, Re-Terrapin, thanks for joining me there, Malevolent Rider, Unwanted Reaper, and anybody else that I happen to miss, I will apologize. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you guys will check out the new show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I will post whenever I decide to do that stream tomorrow afternoon, because I have an extra kid in the house. I have to figure out this with everybody. And then I will catch the rest of you on Monday. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. It has been another wonderful show, and I'll send another message to Adamantine and try to get him on another time. But I do appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much. Remember to click on some buttons on your way out. Always welcome. Thank you, everybody, and have yourself a wonderful day.